This is Mitch and Mike on the mic.
Welcome back.
This is Mitch.
This is Mike.
I've been struggling not to swear
Yep.
on these last podcasts. I've gone about 4 or 5 in a row now without swearing.
Bullshit.
And I'm really close to letting loose right now because Mike is teasing me and not letting me know the future topics, the entire topic list of this section of the podcast.
That's right.
We're starting off with number 1, Time Warner Cable. Now, most of you might think I'm going to complain about Time Warner Cable being a bad company, but I will not.
You should, because they are.
I will, however, state the fact that Time Warner still... And you know what? I'm gonna rethink my whole argument here.
Oh, boy.
Time Warner has commercials out about how they need to get away. People need to get away from DSL. People still have DSL. What a bunch of losers! What year is it, Mike?
I believe it's soon to be
Soon to be. That's where I was going to go. Tell the folks.
2014.
When we put this in the Disney Vault, they're going to replay this. They're going to give us
along with your Lou Bega song.
Yeah, they're gonna give us the compensation retroed for this. This is how popular Mitch and Mike on the mic will be. Disney will buy us out like Star Wars. And they will say, "Wow, Mitch nailed it. Time Warner Cable has stooped to such lows as they must go against and advertise against DSL." What does DSL stand for?
Dick sucking lips.
That's one version. I don't think Time Warner is going to reach out to that sort of the lowest common denominator term for those 3 letters.
You sure?
Positive. I give him that benefit of the doubt. I know a guy who works there. His name's Dave. He's a nice guy. He delivered me pizza once when he got fired.
Does he have DSL?
Yeah, he kind of does.
Yeah.
God damn it, Dave and your DSLs. God, I just want to... Oh, my God. But anyways... Time Warner Cable, they got this head-to-head battle against Verizon Fios right now. And
Fios?
Maybe Dish. I don't know. You know, they can do their arguments back and forth about pricing and everything, but it saddens me as an American that Time Warner Cable has to advertise against DSL. One, because they know they can argue against Fios, because that is fast. Like when I call someone on my Fios, it's like you and me talking right here. It's amazing.
You sound like a commercial.
It's one of a kind.
They are not our only sponsor.
Who?
Whoever you're talking about, it doesn't matter.
DSL?
Because our only sponsor is
tell you what, Mike,
MMA Fantasy.
I'd love to be sponsored by some DSLs right now.
Well, that would be nice.
DSLs make the world
go
anyway, around.
The way you were talking, it sounded like an advertisement.
I'm a walking advertisement, Mike.
For Fios, anyway.
I'm a walking advertisement.
So, where were you going with Time Warner Cable?
I don't know. That was all I had.
That was all you had.
I'm sad that the world has come. I know there's people in Somalia, in Kiev right now that are protesting against the government who are poor and who are sad. I got to tell you, the fact that in America we're still competing versus DSL is a sad, sad thing.
Talk about first world problems.
Thanks, Obama.
So anyway, let's move on to our next topic.
I hope is the guy. You tell the folks.
Well,
I don't want to
when you said this one, I kind of looked at you because you said it like we happened to do a power hour before this podcast. Surprise!
Barely. You wouldn't know by my professionalism. Now,
True.
Mike's, on the other hand, has come into question about multiple times in the past hour.
Whatever. So, as soon as one of the minute songs came up, which happened to be Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy, it seemed like that reminded you of this topic, which was Santa Claus. So, I have to ask, how did Jailbreak jog your memory for Santa Claus? Because when I thought of that, it actually jogged my memory for something. The show Squidbillies.
I don't... Okay, wow, that just spun multiple levels of thought. I'm going to say I just came up with a really roundabout way of getting from Jailbreak to Santa Claus. I do not know how we're going to Squidbillies from this, but I'm excited to go down that path. But hold on 1 second.
There's a legitimate reason for that.
I will tell you why Santa Claus I will tell you why. I'll tell you why Jailbreak and Santa Claus go together, like white on rice, like wine and beer,
Stink on a monkey,
like ice cream and whiskey. I will tell you why, Michael.
Ice cream and whiskey.
Yes. It's the Ben Gay of beverages and food, or icy hot. I'm sorry, that's not Ben Gay.
Wow.
I went for it. I'm just gonna delete that part out. I'm gonna
swing and a miss.
I'm gonna edit that one.
So anyway, Jailbreak and Santa Claus.
Jailbreak Santa. This is the thing about Jailbreak and Santa Claus.
Where's your 4 degrees or 6 degrees of separation?
There's only going to be like 2 or 3. Don't worry about this.
Oh boy.
Jailbreak Santa Claus. I don't remember originally how it happened, but I'll tell you right now. As I come up with this on top of my head as we're doing this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
As you well know right now. A decent amount of people know right now, I'm an atheist.
Okay.
I don't buy in any of that nonsense. I think it's a total crock, and there's no reason to believe.
Yeah, we were just talking about flying spaghetti monsters the other day.
No reason to believe any of it. And actually, there's reasons to not believe any of this stuff written down. Now, spirituality, that's a whole other question that I won't get into. I think that's horseradish as well. And
Horseradish?
Yeah, it's a terrible condiment. But let me continue.
All right,
on
no,
Jailbreak.
we're stopping
Let
right
me tell
now.
you more about.
We are stopping right now. Horseradish is fucking amazing. How do you not like horseradish? I need to make you a horseradish sauce, and you will love it.
You see what it did there? Do you see what I did, listeners, and Mitch Mike on the mic?
Yeah, you totally set me off by saying horseradish is a terrible condiment.
Because
you were wrong.
I just trolled Mike.
So many fucking levels.
I just trolled Mike to get him back in. He was not paying attention.
I was paying attention. Are you fucking serious?
And I'm trolling him again right now. See that? See
God.
that reaction I just had?
I forgot almost that you liked horseradish. I really did. But you unearthed the demons there. Because horseradish is fucking amazing.
Right now, I can't imagine. I'm such an animal rights activist. I can't believe horses take part in racing, and now to make them into a sauce or condiment, I can't even stand it.
So let's get back to this.
Jailbreak and Santa Claus. When I learned that Santa Claus was not real, it blew my mind. And it wasn't until years after that it really jailbreaked my brain to realize that it was all nonsense.
That's not what you were thinking of.
It was. What? And I'll tell you why.
No way.
We'll rewind the tape and I'll tell you this is not what I was thinking of at the time, but I'm
no, right. That's what I mean. Like, what were you thinking of at the time?
Let me tell you a story about Santa Claus.
Oh boy.
When you're a kid, right? You're pretty much guided by your parents. They tell you things you you don't want to do stuff, but you do it just to do it. And I remember when my parents gave me the news that Santa Claus, spoiler alert.
How old were you?
I don't know exactly the age.
About.
But it was embarrassingly old. I may have been in junior high school.
No.
Possibly. I'll say no.
No.
But it was old enough where
it should have happened already.
Yeah, it's probably not junior high school, but
I hope not.
It was old. But here's the thing. When I was younger, I was very much by the rules. To this day still I overthink things.
Okay.
And I remember when it happened, and it was weird because my parents told my brother and I at the same time. Now he's 3-4 years younger than me, depending upon when it is in the year.
Yeah.
So he was still in the easy, pass go collection $200 Santa Claus is cool.
Yeah.
He's cool. Go for it. It's cool.
Yeah.
But I was on a little elder age, but as a child, in the way that I am, maybe not much anymore, but the way that I am, I'm just, you know what? Parents, guardians, authorities, you tell me what I need to do, I'll do it.
Yeah,
because that's the way good people do things.
That's right. Yeah, I'm totally with you on that.
And so here's the thing with the jailbreak. So it made me not right at the time. It was like a couple seconds of thought that creeped into my brain, and then it took years after that. And so I shut it down. Right. So I remember
denial at first.
Yeah, denial. So Santa Claus isn't real. And then I remember at the time I asked, What about the Tooth Fairy? What about the Easter Bunny?
Yep.
And it was messed up because, obviously, and we talked about this before too, you think Santa Claus, and it's tied into Christmas, even though Santa Claus, and I think I said it before, is a American capitalistic kind of, It's not.
Well, it didn't start.
It's not really. It's not. And I remember my dad getting mad at me back in the day when especially myself and my brother were like presents, 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 and like it's not about presents. It's about Jesus being born.
Well,
but at the same time,
Santa Claus, like Saint Nicholas,
it's Saint Nicholas
didn't start in America.
Germany.
I believe it was Norway. Or Finland.
One of those European countries.
A Scandinavian country, I believe.
But the point is America blew it out of the water.
Yeah.
We will get into
Coca-Cola and Santa Claus.
We'll get into Black Friday in another podcast. But the whole thing is...
No, let's not.
So here's the thing about Santa. So Santa Claus, when you're talking about mystical beings when you're a kid, you're talking about Jesus. You're talking about Yahweh, a.k.a. God.
Yeah.
Santa Claus.
Jehovah.
The Virgin Mary, Jehovah, whatever, what have you. Now, here's the catch. As a young child, trying to formulate your brain to how the world works, is this guy in a red suit, and he's in every mall in America for the month of December, and you're like, how does he do that?
Well, come on, everybody uses the same story.
Oh, he's a helper.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you think, well, Santa Claus can deliver houses to a billion different. He can deliver presents to a billion different houses. He's magic. He can be there. And so you kind of make these...
That same kind of magic that he knows what you want. He knows when you're sleeping, knows when you're awake.
Just like in the 1990s, Santa Claus and his elves could make the same sort of toys and wrap them in the same packaging that they have at Walmart and Kmart.
Yeah, magic.
Different than wooden horses and,
other little wooden soldiers.
Other games. That
pretty much everything is made out of wood.
That are plausible for stories told to kids who were born in the 1800s, right? Yeah. Santa Claus brings you a talk boy from Home Alone in a package, and Santa Claus
he's jacking a truck, taking the shit.
Santa Claus forgot,
but it's okay because he's Santa.
He forgot to take the sticker price off from the Kmart, but it's Santa Claus. He's got connections.
I got presents from my parents, and then I got presents from Santa.
Me too. How did you differentiate?
I'm guessing the Santa ones were a little more plausible for Santa.
Here's what my parents did, and not only did it mess with my head, but it also made sense in the apologetically logical child self. Is the Santa Claus? How old do you think Santa Claus is?
Hundreds of, if not thousands.
So
of years
old.
Yeah.
So arthritis.
No, I'm not familiar with arthritis.
Well, it's a thing that old people get that make their handwriting scribbly.
That's Parkinson's.
Same difference. They forget how to write. They forget how to write and how their muscles work. It's the same thing, Mike. So I get these gifts from Santa Claus, and it had said, from Santa, and it had that kind of scribbly writing. I'm like, oh, geez, scribbly. Oh, poor Santa's up late at night, in the months
writing
coming.
Writing
all these
That's
names
pretty
out.
Smart. That's clever. And so, it was the same handwriting for us.
Oh, boy.
No, like, the thing we had...
Maybe that's why it took me so much longer to realize it.
I'm not going to get into the Christmas discussions yet because I believe we'll do another one around Christmas, and I'm not in the Christmas spirit yet, so I can't do it. Sorry.
So bringing this back to the jailbreak and the Santa Claus,
and then I'll go on to my Squidbillies.
And the Jesus.
Yes.
Is that for the longest time I wanted to believe, and here's the thing, of all the magical miracle type ideas and ideologies that are put in your head as a kid, attending church and being religious, you try to make them work out logically. Because as you're a kid, you're pretty logical. Now, it doesn't mean you're the smartest. It doesn't mean you're the best person in the world. But you try to be logical because you try to figure it out.
You try to be logical, but at other times you just sort of accept things.
And exactly. And so I remember, to me, Santa Claus was kind of out there. But here's the thing. From a scientific point of view, every December 25th, when you woke up, there were presents downstairs under the tree with Santa Claus.
That was a fact.
Old man. That was the fact. And so I remember when I was told that wasn't the case, I remember the question was, I said it a little while ago, I said, what about the Tooth Fairy? What about the Easter Bunny? No. What about the reindeer? No. all down the line. And every time I put out
That's gotta be
cookies,
crushing.
and every time I put out cookies, Santa ate most of them.
Well, that
And
was the
every
point I was
time
gonna bring.
he left out
bring
grapes
up.
and other things for the reindeer. They ate them.
We did carrots.
Yep.
Cookies and carrots. And yeah, and they were eaten. I
Oh,
saw the
great
crumbs and
vitamins.
shit. That's what sold
Yeah.
me.
And I remember at that same little sit down, I said, "Well, what about God and Jesus?" And it's, oh, that's true. And a part of me said,
Wait a minute.
"No."
Yeah.
Part of me said, "Okay."
But that's exactly it though. A part of you said okay, which means another part of you said, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
If I could quote Peter Griffin.
All right.
And it took me a while, but then I started realizing, due to a multitude of factors, nah,
Yeah.
nope, not buying it.
All right. So
Then I started reading more about the Bible and all that stuff. Not even close.
we got your Santa Claus jailbreak story.
My brain has been jailbreaked. The same
The
way
reason-
you can jailbreak your iPhone from Steve Jobs and his empire of
Yes.
awesomeness.
Well, not Steve Jobs anymore.
Well, not anymore, and we'll see that company's going down the tubes.
So the reason I thought of Squidbillies,
I can't wait to hear this one.
for those of you who watch the show, you'll probably already know this.
You got tentacle porn one time, and the guy from Squidbillies is an octopus.
No, remind me of Santa Claus
Oh,
and Jailbreak at the same time.
okay, tell me. They captured him and
The-
waited until he said Jewish.
Yes,
was the
they
correct
captured
relation.
him and held him hostage.
For
Because
what? I totally guessed that. I totally guessed that.
It's one of my favorites because they do this thing where like they're watching the news and they do like the little wink. They're like, "Oh, and Santa's passing right over our county," but like it goes like blank. They're like, wait a minute, we just lost him. We just lost Santa. All right, we're gonna stay with you all night. We're gonna figure out what happened." So, Early Kyler, the guy who kidnaps Santa, kills like all the reindeer, makes deer jerky out of them.
I was gonna say reindeer stew.
Wants the greatest gift of all, and Santa's sitting there going, "Wait a minute, Kyler, quit! I know you. Damn it, Santa, just give it to me. No, I will not bring you the still beating heart of Jeff Gordon. I will not do it."
Wait a second. I don't get it. Jeff Gordon, Santa Claus.
All right, they're rednecks, Squidbillies. So what's the greatest gift of all to them?
Oh,
the still beating heart of Jeff Gordon.
Oh, I get it. It's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice joke.
I love that show so much. That's one of the better episodes too. It's great. So, all right, yeah. When you brought up Santa Claus and Jailbreak, I thought of Squidbillies because of that. They take Santa Claus hostage, and they want the still beating heart of Jeff Gordon for his return.
I'm gonna take this back to Christmas for a little bit.
Ugh.
And this is something else. No, here's the thing though, and this is part of the thing where Santa Claus messes up your relationships to your parents.
Because they've been lying to you your whole life.
I'm gonna turn this in a positive way.
So it screws it up in a positive way?
Yeah, and because I'll explain why. This is interesting. I just thought of this recently a couple weeks ago. When you're told that Santa Claus isn't real, you're young, but you're not old enough to recognize the value of the dollar.
Okay.
So someone like myself, and you're in the same boat. Not everyone is, and more people are more fortunate than others, but you're just still a little young to really appreciate the years before all the gifts you got, right?
No, I'm pretty well aware.
But you don't quite. I don't think at that age you quite make the connection, and you go back and go, "Oh my goodness."
No, I know how much my parents spend on me each year. I know.
No, I know. You know now. But I'm saying at that age.
At that age.
That's my thing. Like at that age, that's the dichotomy between them telling you Santa isn't real and you being devastated compared to you being like, "Oh my goodness, thank you so much for all the hard work and all the time and all the effort and all the links you went to making all these Christmases being amazing." That's where the lie of Santa Claus kicks parents in the face, because by the time you tell them you're not quite old enough and they're too young to realize that, and that's I'll say it right now on this podcast. I don't know who's listening, but to my parents, thank you so much, because I remember. Here's the story. I remember one Christmas, and it was like probably a year before they told us. I got a call from my grandmother on my dad's side, and she's like, "Oh, Merry Christmas. How's Christmas going?" And I was like, "Oh, it's pretty good." And it was a year like the volume of gifts looked smaller.
Okay.
But I think we had a couple of the bigger size, more expensive gifts. And I remember I'm on the phone. I'm on the old cordless phone back before cell phones. And I go, "Oh, it's good, but I guess we weren't as good as we thought we were this year."
Ah!
And my dad in the background goes, "What? No, don't say that."
Well,
what about those gifts over there? I'm like, "What are you talking about, Dad? There's less gifts." And I had no idea, but in retrospect, I felt bad.
as much as I don't want to talk about Christmas because I'm not ready yet, I have to share this story based on that.
Okay.
One year, my parents forgot my Christmas presents.
They thought you were Jewish.
No!
They thought you converted to Muslim.
No. Okay.
Converted to Islam.
The story, thank God,
Islam.
I was like 16, 17 years old at this point and not like a little kid. But what happens is, you always have, you have a couple of presents down, around the Christmas tree, and then, the night before they bring all the rest down, right? Well, they apparently forgot my bag, put all of them down there, so I opened, like, my 4 presents, and everybody keeps going. Mom looks over at me, "Why aren't you opening your presents?" Well, I did,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the dickhead kids, like, "Where the fuck are my presents?" I opened, like, my 4 presents.
I remember.
Well, I did, and they're like, they're looking. My mom goes, sits there and thinks for a second, looks at the present, goes, "Oh my God, we forgot."
I remember, I think one year, not quite as bad as that,
Yes.
but one year I think there was like a bag that was left in the garage by my dad.
Yeah.
We got done. We only had like 2 or 3 gifts open, my brother and I. And like my mom looks at my dad, and she's like, "Where's the?" I was like, "I don't know." She's like, "Did you leave it in the garage?" "Oh, kids, I think Santa left something in the garage.
Oh,
Go out there and check for it."
Jesus.
How did Santa get in the garage? This is great. How about this though? Did you? I remember.
Let's get off of Christmas.
Hold on,
please.
this last thing. I know you're a curmudgeon, like I mentioned before, and your.
This is driving me nuts though, because I've said I don't want to talk about Christmas. We're gonna do another podcast for Christmas. We are.
Only if you're nice.
Fuck you.
Not if you're naughty. Here's a question. Did your parents? I'm gonna say old school VHS tape record you opening gifts.
Oh, at least a couple of times. At least 2 or 3.
You remember the old house we had on 48?
Yeah.
Before we went upstairs, there was the stairs coming down. You had the landing.
Yeah.
And you come down.
Yeah.
It's the best thing. I mean, my brother actually has the old VHS tapes.
Yeah, he made the
transferring to DVDs.
Yeah.
He's not done with them yet.
Still, it's been like a year and a half.
Takes a while.
Jesus Christ, Greg, get your shit together.
We come down. Wow! Oh, it is the best thing ever. And here's another thing. Here's another Santa. Head brain tease. Is every year, our dog Barney, we'd wake up in the morning.
Literally every year, this dog has been alive for all of time.
Summer before kindergarten, we had to put him down the summer before I went into my senior year of.
No, you got
college.
him the year summer before kindergarten.
Summer before kindergarten.
You said you put him down the summer before kindergarten.
No, I'm sorry. Got him the summer before kindergarten, my kindergarten year. Put him down the summer before my senior year of college.
So that's
old dog.
16 years?
Probably,
no, more than that.
No, more than that. But anyways, Santa Claus, wink, wink, mom and dad, would take a little ribbon you tie you string the ribbon around the presents with.
Sure.
And you take scissors and you run it against and it curls up.
Yeah.
They would tie a little ribbon bow around Barney's collar.
Ugh.
And we think Santa would tie up the bow around, and we're like, "Oh my, wow."
How did he do it? How did he get a hold of Barney?
And Barney never even barked last night. He always barks when like a dump truck goes down the road. Santa is really magical.
Well, duh. All right. We're moving on. I'm cutting this shit off.
I'm good.
Price Chopper, Price Chopper and gas station
boy.
proposition. So,
Wow.
what's the story here?
One was for intercourse. This
better not be fucking Santa Claus
This
again.
This is not jailbreaking back to a gift.
All right.
So a couple
one
weeks,
for sex, one for something.
It was
else.
Halloween night, and I was coming back from my girlfriend's place.
Oh boy!
And I stopped at the gas station, and as I walk in, there was one guy there. He's just checking out. I go back to grab some beer. Guy leaves. I go up to the front desk, and this old white lady who's probably tried all the drugs you can think of.
I think you did tell me this.
Well, I told you. I don't think it was on the podcast.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, hey, ha, ha, ha. And then some other, we'll call her a little overweight African-American lady with one of those teardrop tattoos who maybe have killed someone.
Yeah.
From prison.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, hey, how you doing? Halloween night, you tricking or treating out there?
Now, first of all, what were you dressed as?
That night, nothing. That
nothing.
was not party
you had
night.
Nothing.
That was just, I had a coat on and some jeans.
Okay.
And Teardrop Lady goes, oh, what are you doing tonight? You tricking or treating? I go, nothing really. Just kind of hanging out, grabbing some beer, gonna hang out for a little bit. Not a lot of trick or treaters, surprisingly. Just kind of being my nice, cordial self.
Right.
As everyone knows me to be. Not swearing or anything, being professional on the podcast.
Sure.
I haven't sworn yet. And she goes, you got any treats over there? I'll give you a trick. And that was as long as my silence was. I look at her and go,
yeah, what did you say?
I guess not. Have a good night, ladies.
No, I don't think I have any of those.
I think she would have charged me $5.
Ooh, that's pretty big money. I mean,
she was cheap, dude.
Well, at height and weight, what's your guess?
About 4'8", 290.
4'8", 290. Seriously?
No.
No, come on.
I'll say that she was probably like 5'4", 5'5", and she was probably $185.
Okay, I mean we're not talking ridiculous.
Have you seen the show Orange Is the New Black?
I know of it.
She could have been that's the one of the female prison. She could have been like a co-lead.
I know it's
character.
the female prison, but I don't know the characters.
She could have been a co-lead. She was a little rough around the edges.
Well, I'm guessing by the raindrop tattoo, I kind of figured that one.
Teardrop.
What a teardrop, yeah.
So that was that.
Whatever.
So I've yet to be back to that gas station where I got propositioned by the lovely lady.
Yes, the treat for the trick.
Yeah. And so then just today, I stopped to grab some groceries at Price Chopper over in Erie Boulevard, and I go walking out. It was weird because as I was walking in, I saw a guy chatting up some other guy, and then when I left, he was still out there, and I left. I heard a voice behind me, and he's like, hey, buddy. And I didn't quite know it was me, but the voice kept getting closer. He's like, hey, tall guy, hey, buddy, hey, man, hey, hold on.
You figure it out, yeah.
I turned around, and this guy comes walking up to me. I'm like, oh, hey, man, what's going on? What can I help? You need help with something? And it was really bizarre, and it took me a little while to understand what he was talking about. But he's like, hey, man, I need some food. I'm hungry. I'm a grandfather. I got 4 grandchildren. I've never cried until today. I never cried. It's really tough. I need food. And I'm like, what do you got in your hand? And he was carrying like a little tray, like a tray of like cookies.
Mm-hmm.
He must have. I go, you got food right. You got cookies right there, man. What are you talking about? He's like, I got these down at Fusillo. They gave me these cookies at Fusillo. He's like, I'm gonna be honest. I've been drinking a lot today.
Wow, really?
Wow. Oh, incredibly out of the ordinary. He's like, I've been drinking today and I've had bad ideas. And he goes, and I got a life insurance policy, a $10,000 life insurance policy. And I was down at Fusillo's and said, no, man, don't do it. Have these cookies. And I need food. And at this time, I didn't really realize what he was trying to say. And I was like, I know he needs food. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry, I don't have any cash on me, man. If I had like $5, I'd throw you $5, and I'd throw him $5, even if he was lying to me. I don't care. The guy's hungry. whatever. Maybe he needs money for his grandkids. I'll throw him $5. Get a couple double cheeseburgers from McDonald's. I don't need the money that bad. I can spare the money. I didn't swear there. I stopped myself.
Anyway.
I said, but. So then I realized what he was telling me.
Yeah.
Did you catch it?
Oh, I caught it.
He was insinuating
he was going to kill himself.
He was going to kill himself to give his grandkids $10,000 in life insurance.
However, generally, if you kill yourself, you don't get the life insurance.
Well, I'm sure he's smart enough. He'd figure out a way to make it look like he died realistically.
Yeah, I'm guessing not, concerning he's probably homeless and been drinking all day.
So 2 things ran into my head. One was, wow, that's a really cheap life insurance policy.
Right? 10 G's is fucking nothing.
I guess not 2 things ran through my brain. 3 things did. One was that's a cheap life insurance policy. Third is this guy lying, which a lot of times they just lie to get free stuff.
Yeah.
And the third thing was, if this guy's got 4 grandkids, he hasn't eaten in a day or 2. He's cried for the first time, which he told me. He cried. He was so sad he cried for the first time in 15 years.
Well, you said first time in his life.
Yeah, I must have misspoke, but I remember him specifically said, I haven't cried in like 15 years. Assuming this is true, and I'm a sympathetic guy. Like I said, I would have given him cash if I had cash. I've given people cash in the past at a gas station. They come up to you, try to, they take you for all you're worth. I've given a guy $20 once. I got scammed hard. That's another story for another day. My point is, $10,000 isn't a lot, but if this guy is messed up as much as he is, maybe $10,000 is the way to go.
For 4 grandkids, which his kids or kid is probably fucked up as it is too, maybe. I remember a guy walked up to me in Price Chopper one time and was like, he played it off pretty well. I gotta give him that. Mitch is gonna go take a piss, so I'll just tell my story. And what happened was he walked up and he was like, hey, he acted like he recognized me. And he said, what high school did you go to? And I told him I went to Beeville. He's like, oh, yeah, I went to Beeville, too. Do you remember this person? I was like, no, I don't know that person. Oh, hey. Well, anyway, man, can you give me, $15 or something like that? I am almost the opposite of Mitch. I don't give... People walk up to me at the gas station. That's happened to me a few times. Homeless people on the street. I'm rather frugal with my money when it comes to those kind of people. I don't know. I don't have that much money. Rare occasion I'll have a little extra cash, a little extra income, but generally not a lot, not enough to really spare. And, I wish I could. I know a lot of people are in a tough situation at that point. Not necessarily blaming them, but sorry, I need my shit for me. So I'm sorry, Mitch, but I don't give out my money like that to other people. But I remember that the same Price Chopper that I know you're talking about. That's where that one happened. One of my more interesting stories at a gas station wasn't necessarily for money. I've never given somebody gas station money or given anybody money at a gas station, whichever one you wish. But I was in college, and I had someone walk up and say, can you show me how to pump gas? They'd never pumped gas before and didn't know how. Obviously, it was a girl. She had to have been a freshman in college, and I'm guessing she was from New Jersey. Because you can't pump your own gas, generally, in New Jersey.
Here's the question of the day. Cleavage or no cleavage?
She was wearing a sweatshirt. It was colder out. It was like October. November, something like that.
For the interested fans of the podcast, cleavage or no cleavage?
And I told you, wearing a sweatshirt. So that would be none.
For the interested fans of the podcast,
just say what you're gonna fucking say.
Who like to use their imagination, cleavage.
Just say what you're gonna say. I know you're looking for the setup. Just fucking say it.
For the imagination of the
oh,
fans.
for Christ's sake.
Was there cleavage or no cleavage?
No, there was no fucking cleavage.
They want to hear that there's cleavage, man. They want to hear there was big double
Let me
Ds.
ask you this. Honestly, who listens to this podcast?
A lot of people do.
Like who?
Trust me, they're out there.
Yeah,
I don't know. The numbers are so large. I don't have individual names, man.
The people who have told me they listen to this podcast would not be interested in that.
Statistically speaking, it's hard to come up with a single name. And maybe the reason
I'm moving on to the next subject.
Maybe there's not enough people because you don't tell them about how great cleavage you saw in New Jersey that one time. A little gas spilled. She came down right down the middle of the cleavage. She kind of rubbed it around. Oh, all
right, Mitch.
Oh yeah, cleavage, gasoline, cleavage.
We're watching Tony Romo on the screen right now after the game after they got slaughtered.
Did he just lose another game in December?
He did just lose another game in December.
Did he just get embarrassed in December?
12-17, I believe.
Will his suave haircut
new topic is cowboy. Excuse me, animosity.
So cowboy animosity.
Cowboy animosity, which we talk about almost every podcast. We talk about Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I mean, there's the main go-to factors about cowboy animosity that I always think about. In recent, I would say months, year and a half, 2 years, I've really become quite lackadaisical in regards to, let's say, outside of the Giants, New York Giants, really lackadaisical in regards to the
rest of the league, fandom, like
sports in general.
Yeah,
I'm more fair weather. I can't be caught up in all that stuff. I told you before.
Typical Red Sox fan.
Exactly. I don't mind that. Red Sox right now they're the World Series champions, just like I expected. And like you asked me before, like name me some people on the current Syracuse Orangemen football team. I can't name a single person. I don't even know the name of the coach.
So sad.
But I go there and I root and I hoot and I holler and I have a good time and I pay my $6.75 for beverages and I'm just a happy camper and that's what I'm about. But at the same time, I'm very lackadaisical in regards to everything related to sports outside of the New York Giants. With that being said, animosity towards the Cowboys has never been any higher at this point. I need to see them, out of the sake of igniting the fire of hatred and lust for injury, that I need to see the Cowboys go down in flames.
You should get a tattoo that just says "fuck the Cowboys."
It is their time to meet their demise. The big D, the demise of the Cowboys in December. That's Dallas December demise. 3 Ds. That's triple D. I want to see right now, and I will be dedicated, and I will do research, and I will dictate that the fact that the Cowboys and the Dallas and the defense will go down in history is the Dumbledores of defense.
I'm calling it right now. Do you know who the Cowboys play Week 17?
That was a lot of D's. They played the Eagles.
That was pretty good alliteration, and that's correct. They play the Eagles.
I'm doubtful the Dallas D to play in December in the cold and in the dust.
Well, they will because that Week 17 game will be important, and they will lose because that's what's happened for the past 3 or 4 years in a row. They go into the Week 17 game needing to win it, to go to the playoffs, win they're in, and they fucking lose every time.
Do you know what the rest of their schedule is? Dallas Cowboys?
The Packers, the Eagles.
There's one more, right? There's only 3 more games? Or is there 4?
There's 3 more games.
Vikings? They played the Vikings on Thanksgiving, right?
I don't recall who they play. They played the Raiders on Thanksgiving.
Oh.
I don't recall who they play, but it doesn't matter. They're going to go to that game.
There was an article, I can't remember.
With a chance to go to the playoffs, and they won't.
There's an article online somewhere. I can't remember exactly who it was from. It was ESPN or something else. And it was something to the mention of, it was about Tony Romo. And it was about, is it time to, give credit where credit is due or something like that.
He is not a bad quarterback.
No. Not even close.
He's not a bad quarterback.
He's not a bad quarterback. But the point is that until he accomplishes something in the playoffs, he's not. Because that's all that matters. You can get to the playoffs as many times as he has or get to the last game of the season like he has and blow it, and you can be the most underappreciated, overrated guy in the league, which he is over and over and over again.
I remember the last game of last year for the Cowboys.
Even the Dallas fans say it.
Everybody was chiding Romo. I was talking with my dad, and he just goes, I forget what the final score was, but let's say they lost 38-35. Let's just say, because I honestly don't remember. Yeah. The point of the story is, my dad looks at me and goes, funny, I don't remember Romo giving up 38 points. Not always his fault.
Not always, but you can count.
He has the best fourth quarter passer rating in NFL history.
I can't. I mean, I believe the data. I'm a data guy. I believe
You're
it.
a stat guy.
I'm not a stat boy.
I said stat guy.
I like stat guy. Well, I don't want to be.
You're a stat guy.
I don't want to be impending any ESPN trademarks.
No, they're trademarks.
I like stats. I like
talking about Tony Reale.
He's got a great haircut.
Does have a great haircut.
He knows how to mute people.
He does.
He likes Woody Page.
He hates Woody Page.
Woody Page is an all-American hero.
Oh, please. His board is great. The board he has behind him, that's always good. Yeah. Anyway.
That's true.
Tony Romo.
How about MC Dubs?
MC Dubs tearing it up.
Michael Carter Williams is blazing it.
Oh, look at that guy in a Syracuse t-shirt or sweatshirt.
Where?
You just missed it. It was the Griffin's head was blocking it. Swear to God. Look, oh, there we go. Ready?
Oh, you're rewinding it.
Oh, I did rewind it.
Bo Dudley.
Right there.
Press play.
See? Syracuse.
Oh, I see him. Very nice.
You saw it. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, they're playing the Sixers. That's why.
All right. Next topic. Last one.
Woo!
Reddit weapon question.
Oh, yeah. So I'm on Reddit all the time.
Reddit
is it's really the best website I've ever seen in my life. In a question that was posed, and I don't know the answer, but I'm gonna give it to you, Mike. The question was: is you have an opponent you're fighting to the death. You don't know who the person is.
Okay.
The catch is, you get to pick the weapon that you want to use to fight this person to the death. The catch is that they get the same weapon as you.
Duh.
What weapon do you use? I think I know what you're going to go with, but I'll give you an example. Do you go with like nunchucks? Do you go with grenades? Do you do bazooka? Do you go like an AK-47? Like, so you get a weapon. So what weapon do you think you'll be good with that you can outwork the other person? Interesting question.
My initial thought is like a knife, like a chef knife.
You want to go after someone else with a knife?
If they have a knife as well, I think I might have a better chance. Yeah.
Now,
because I'm skilled with a knife.
You are skilled with a knife, but is it laying there? Is it laying there on your table dead?
They have one. I have.
Or is it moving?
They have one. I have.
It's moving, Mike.
What do you mean it's moving? It's a fucking knife.
My point is, as a cook, you have dead animal carcasses on your table, and you just cut them at will. They're not shoving.
No, the point is, I know how to handle a knife.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if it's moving; it's still fucking in front of me.
So did OJ, and he's only an NFL Hall of Famer.
Wow. And well, he got the job done, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
There you go.
Almost swore there.
So that was the question. What weapon would you use?
Just sticking with a knife.
So far right now, like, people are going to be better with a sword probably than me. A gun is just a random chance, whoever.
I was going to guess gun. I'll tell you what gun I was going to go with for you.
What's that?
Sniper rifle. You love the sniper rifle.
I like the sniper rifle in video games. In real life, that shit's totally different.
Well, yeah, because you're going to see yourself staring down the.
No, that's
about knowing.
About knowing math and feel and being able and having a good sight.
If I know anything from Call of Duty, it's all about the quick scope. There's no math involved.
Exactly. You know it only from Call of Duty. I remember in one of the Call of Duties, which is something that could actually happen, Your shot was so long you had to take into account the curvature of the Earth.
That was Battlefield.
No, it wasn't, because I never played Battlefield, but it was in the regular part of the game in Modern Warfare.
Okay, regular. Okay, I only really play multiplayer.
That's what
I've
I'm
only
saying.
played through the single players once for all
It was
those
on the
games.
single player of,
Okay, I'll
I
I'll
believe
take it.
the original Modern Warfare.
For like the single player campaign mode of the game, they probably would take that into effect, but not multiplayer. You could shoot someone
Right.
from 500 yards away or 5 feet away. It's the same physics.
It was the map with like the Ferris wheel.
I think I remember that one.
Yeah,
You
because
sit
like
there-
I remember sitting there like you're supposed to line it up.
You're laying prone with another guy, and then
I think so.
everything goes haywire, and you got to get out of there in time.
I don't recall, but I remember you getting a shot off. And in the game, like it was myself and my roommate, we fucking blew the guy's head off.
Language.
But like later in the game, like, oh, you hit him in the shoulder, and now his arm is messed up. I was like, no, I remember seeing his head come off.
Poor guy's
I
got
shot
collarbone
that shit.
damage. Just take
So
him
anyway,
out, Mike. Teasing him.
That in real life, using a sniper rifle like that, you have to know math. You have to be able to adjust for wind, distance, and being able to get the scope right, and seeing how the bullet's going to travel. It's a lot of math. I'm telling you.
You gonna ask me what weapon I'd use?
What weapon would you use? Shotgun?
Greg Louganis' dick.
Wow. So I'm guessing that was one of the responses on Reddit. No? Pulled that out of thin fucking air?
Do you know why I'd use
You
that?
came up with a Greg Louganis joke out of thin air. Really?
Do you know why I use it for the folks?
Because Greg Louganis has AIDS?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that. I'm surprised you knew who Greg Louganis was.
Mitch 1, Mike 0, Mitch victory with a 1980s reference.